Hey guys, it's Amy with Crafts by Aimee. I'm on early because I'm at an event, so I'm giving time for the admins to share. So I'll start explaining what's going on at the top of the hour. But I will say I'm in the Adventures in Crafting group today, so if you're watching right now and you want to go over there so you can see the rest of the presenters after me, you should. Sorry guys, my throat was killing me right before I came live. And I have really bad acid reflux and it was acting up earlier, so I took stuff for that. So that's what made my throat hurt. So I'm just sucking on lozenge. So I couldn't decide what I wanted to do today because I have so much stuff in this room and it's beyond ridiculous what I have in this room. And I actually just came up with an idea just a second ago. And I probably have the stuff to do it too. I'm not going to do it because I'm not getting up again. But it would have been a good thing to do. And I'll tell you what it was in a second. I'm trying to see if I have the piece that I would have needed to use for it. I think I do. Ooh. This is so weird. So I have all Apple products and they all sync across devices. My laptop is 1 minute faster than my iPad. Oh, now it's synced up. Hey Melanie, thank you for sharing me out. So guys, today I am in Adventures in Crafting. Our hostess today for this Snapple event, which is apples and snacks, is Melanie from Be the Light by Melanie, Shannen from Sugar Snob Designs, and Miss Sandie from Glittzy Glam Cockney Crafter. There, I got it in one time. Hi Mary. Hey Mechell. So Grace was before me with Grace Faithful Creations, aka the Pouncy Bling Queen, and up after me is Glittzy YaYa, who is Mechell. And Grace was asking me if I was journaling today, and I told her no. And I put a poll on my page like an hour and a half ago, I think, to see what I should do. Only one person responded on the poll, but it was kind of last minute. And I asked if I should do crafting, resin, or chalking. A paper craft is what crafting would have been. So I really wanted to make an apple pie, and I've been waiting to do one forever. But I can't find my pie tins. And then I have this one that says Be It Pineapple, Stand Tall, Wear a Crown, and Be Sweet on the inside. So I have a double-sided sign. Thank you, Yachty. I have a ton of these. They were from Hobby Lobby, and they were clearancing them out. I think the 6-pack is what they were. I think they had a 6-pack of these. And I want to say they were like $2.25 or something like that for the 6 of them. So y'all better believe I bought all the little chalkboards in that section that they were getting rid of. So we're going to do the homemade apple pie on one side. This kind of reminds me of those signs they put on tables at diners that have like the menu of like desserts. So I thought we'd do that on this side and the pineapple on the other side. So I can either do it in candy apple red, which I think we'll try. And if it doesn't look good, since this is a chalk paste and this is a chalkboard, if it looks bad or we can't really read it because it's not bright enough, just take water and we can clean it off and start again. But I would probably clean it off, do the other side, and then come back. But we are going to do this one. And I do have my fan on underneath me because currently in my craft room, it is 75 degrees, which is better than the temperature outside because outside it's 91 degrees. But the humidity in my craft room is 58 degrees. And the humidity outside is 58%, and outside is 63%. So there's really not that much of a difference in the humidity. The only difference is the temperature. So I am fuzzing this. It is from Magnolia. I'm pretty sure they still have it on their website, because it's not a really old stencil. It's from, and I'm just looking down to make sure it is centered, and it fits perfectly on this surface. So, and then I'm just taking the back of my squeegee and pressing down to make sure I get any of the air out of this. And the pineapple one is from, this one is from Chalk Couture. Magnolia does not ship to Canada, but Chalk Couture does. This is, and I know Melanie was with Chalk Couture. I mean, not Chalk Couture, Magnolia. And Yadi used to be with Magnolia. And I actually had somebody sign up with me on Magnolia recently, and they are doing this thing where it's an incentive trip for creators. And I actually got on the top 25 because of my new creator that joined with me. So this is Candy Apple from Magnolia. It looks funky. I swear if I stir this up, it's going to look fine. I just don't want to. Thank you, Miss Grace. I loved your little crafts that you were doing. Of course, Miss Grace had to add some bling by putting some pearls on there. This should stand out enough. I mean, it's a bright red. If I had used a darker one, it probably wouldn't stand out as much against the black. And I always go back in and scrape some of it off because it always ends up pushing down on the slanted side. And once it gets towards this portion of your squeegee, you really can't use it. Like, you can't get to it to use it. It gets so far down you can't get it on the surface. So I just go back in here, scrape it off, and get some more to finish what I need. I don't know if you've ever watched me before. I go back with the back of my squeegee and take excess off. And I try to do it at an angle. Sometimes I'll use this side that's curved. And I try to go back, and any lines that I have from where I was putting this paste on, I try to spread out so it doesn't have that when I lift it up. My friend Marie taught me that. She's like, have y'all ever noticed this? And I'm like, wow, I never really thought about it until she said that. So now I'm going to peel this off. Okay, it does look really good. I love the red. And if y'all have ever watched me with stencils before, y'all know I'm going to clean this thing right now. I just have it on my silicone mat. I just sprayed it with regular water. And I have a stencil cleaner. The sooner you clean this after you use it, the better your chances are of not having it stay stained. Yes, it looks bad right now, but I promise you it's not going to stay like that. I'm just basically getting the top layer off. And then I'm going to get a disinfectant wipe and clean it the rest of the way. So you can use disinfectant wipes on mesh stencils. You just don't want to use baby wipes, which most of us have in our stash, both of them. So, and the inside of the tacky towel is used for drying stencils. So yes, it doesn't look clean right now, but that's just because the stuff was coming out of the other side onto this silicone mat. And this was a lot of paste, and it is a red, so it's a vibrant color. So it's going to need a couple of wipes, but it's nothing too bad with it. But if I had left it on there longer, this stencil would have been a little bit stained. As long as you don't have paste or ink inside the mesh part of your stencil, they're fine. See? It still had stuff on it. And you can use these on the back of them if you need to. Like if you get, sometimes when I use these stencils, if I don't sand my surface well enough, or sometimes just the paint job that I've done, it will pull it up sometimes. So sometimes I just clean the back of it because of that. So I just wanted y'all to know that you can use the back of that. You can use those on the back of the stencils. It's not going to affect your the stickiness. See, now it's all clean. And so you just use the inside. Plus, that gave a chance for that to dry some. And we're going to dry it the rest of the way and flip it over and do the pineapple one. And I don't feel like trying to find my... No, I'm just going to throw this in there. I was going to say I don't feel like trying to find my little container to throw those in, and I was just going to grab a coffee filter. I couldn't get the coffee filter out, so I just threw it on top of all of them. I don't want to get that on anything else. I do have another stencil to do after the pineapple one, because these don't take that long. They're especially if you're just doing the one color, they're very quick crafts. So, I mean, it's only 8 after, and we finished half of it. And even if I wanted to do like a little bow to put on it, or embellish it, I still have tons of time. So put that one to the side. I'm going to grab my heat tool just to make sure it's dry so that when I flip it over, it doesn't get smeared. But it's mostly dry already, because chalk paste doesn't take very long to dry. Ink takes longer to dry, but that's because it's like a thinner product. Chalk paste is a little bit thicker. So that is dry. So I'm going to flip it over, and we're going to do the pineapple one on this side. So you got to be careful when you have fans on when you do these. If you're using the big ones, I messed up an 18-inch stencil one time, and let me tell you, that was not my idea of fun. And people were like, "Go put it on." I'm like, it was like in a ball from the fan being on. I think I had the fan under the table on, which I have on right now, because who wants to craft in 75-degree weather in their craft room? Not really me. That's good enough for me. I don't care if it's directly in the center or not. So as you're hopping on, say hi. I know that comments have been wonky today. They were wonky for me. I don't remember who I was trying to watch earlier. No, I was watching Grace before me, and she was saying hi to people, and I'm like, I don't see these people in my comments. And then she responded to a comment, and like 10 minutes later, the comment showed up on my page, and I was like, seriously, Facebook? Seriously? Y'all took that long? So from every now and again, Magnolia will have special squeegees. I think that this one, the red one, ended up being like a year-round thing. They gave us 4th of July ones during the summer, and we have a Christmas one. I did not finish the journal. I finished making the waterfall, but I need to look at what I have to see how to finish it, because it's not working right. So this is Daffodil, and this one is kind of old, so I am going to stir it up some. These are little stir sticks you get from, you can get them from Magnolia, you can get them from Chocolate Tour, you can get them from Temu, you can get them from Amazon. Heck, they probably even have them at like Sally's. They're makeup stir sticks if you go to Sally's, I think. I'm surprised they don't have them at the Hobby Lobby, since they have like the section where you can make your own soaps and stuff. I would think that it would be in that, because you could use these to stir small batches. So this is Daffodil from Magnolia. And yes, you can do Magnolia surfaces with Chalk Couture stencils and Magnolia pastes. I do it all the time. I was going to get the one from Chalk Couture to do with this one, but they're in a container and it was had stuff stacked on it, and I said I don't really feel like moving this. I will say Chalk Couture has started doing 4.5 by 6.5 stencils, but keeping the images the same, and it's very difficult to get to the edges right here, like without getting it on your surface. So just be aware of that, because it's not as bad at the bottom, because the bottom always has the stencil name on it, and like it says the year, and it says Chalk Couture and all that. But at the top, there really is not a ton of room up there to fool with it. So just a heads up on that one. Magnolia does 5x7s. Chalkator used to. I don't know why they changed to 4.5 by 6.5, but so I'm just putting my squeegee in there. And I'm just going to tell y'all right now, I'll clean my squeegees in a timely manner. And at one time, I think I had 20 of them sitting in a container to be cleaned. And they come clean, you guys. Even if you don't wash them for a year, probably, they would still come clean. So that's our pineapple one. And I'm just going to clean this off too. I'm going to use, kind of trying to use the sides so that I wouldn't get all that red on it. But no, I did not finish my 80s journal. That journal is going to take me forever to finish. I did work on it this weekend in Yachty's event, but it did not get finished. Thanks, Miss Shannon. So like I said, I just clean it on here. I've seen Beth from Craft Room Confessions with Beth do this. So I know it doesn't really stick to silicone that badly. She's done it with bigger stencils than this, so I'm not overly concerned. But I did know you could use these. Hey, Mechell, I was watching your live earlier and it kept freezing for me. So my phone needed to be updated, I think. And so it took forever to reboot. I'm like, I can't watch Mechell. Like, my phone isn't rebooting. But I was watching you make the jar. It's a very cute craft. I love the tissue paper thing. Liz did something like that the other day with one of her crafts. She was using it for texture on a God, I can't even remember now. She was doing a cutting board. I'm like, it was my event. Why can't I remember things? Okay, so we've got the pineapple side done. We're going to dry this. And then I have a huge craft we can work on. These were just a couple of little ones. Because I brought a bunch of paste over here. This yellow really stands out on the black, which is why I like it. So now we have a little double-sided sign. So you can put this on your counter, and one side can say the pineapple side, and one can say apples. Let's go get homemade apple pie. And the other one says, be a pineapple, stand tall, wear a crown, and be sweet on the inside. I'm just going to stick that right up there. This is the other stencil that I have. It is called Apple Orchard Encore. It's from Chalkator. They used to have, I don't know if they still do. They originally had one of these, and it was 12 by 18, so it was really big. So I guess people were, I don't want to say complaining, but asking for a smaller version of certain ones. So they came out with like smaller versions and called it Encore. Yes, if you're not following anybody in the comments that you see here, guys, please go and follow them. And please go and join the group, which is Adventures in Crafting. So I was trying to find a surface to put this on. And this was in my room. And I was like, you know what? Yes, this is a pumpkin, but I'm going to paint it red and it's going to be an apple. So we're going to paint it red and we're going to put this on here and we're just going to go from there. So we're going to paint it first, obviously. So I actually have the same paint out that Kim was using earlier. The Imperial Red from chalk paint from Folk Art Home Decor. So that's what we're going to use to paint this. I think I'm just going to sand it very lightly. And I say that because I use 400 grit sandpaper. So it really does do like a fine sanding. And I sand with the green, so this green is going this way. If you sand against the green, it'll just make a mess. Like it'll I don't know if it's really splintering it, but that's what I think of it as. So we're going to paint the bottom part with red, and I'm going to paint the stem up here with brown, and it's going to be an apple now. So I grab a paintbrush. So this was a surface from Hobby Lobby, and I need to figure out how to fix my phone again so that you can see this whole surface. And I should have put an apron on. I didn't realize the paint was going to do that. But this is a very pretty apple red. Could have done it in green, because green is my favorite color. But my favorite apples are either Red Delicious or Honeycrisp. I don't like them really tart. I don't like them really sweet. So those are kind of in the middle part. I have a whole thing on my phone. I found an image a while back that showed you all the different apples. And it goes from sweet, which the red apples are more towards the sweet side. And for anybody that knows, Granny Smith green apples are like the sourest out of all of the apples. But there were some apples on that list. I'm like, I didn't even know these existed. Like in the last few years, the Pink Lady, the Cosmic Crisp. They have a Bradenton one or something like that. There's a ton of them. I'm like, where are all of these apples? Gala apples. Gala apples are like one of the sweetest apples. So I know we don't have a lot of viewers, probably because it's dinner time, but thank you for the ones that are watching. And if you're watching on replay, please do hashtag replay so I know you came and watched. I am going to be giving away Happy Mail this month because I just decided, you know, it's the middle of the year. I have a lot of craft stuff in my room. I might as well share it with other people. And I'm not telling you how you're going to get your name in the drawing, but it has to do with a comment. So if I see your name in the comments, just know that it might, your comment might end up getting you Happy Mail at the end of the month. And I will ask before I send whatever the Happy Mail is, because, you know, some people might be pure paper crafters, like Victoria's Design Secrets. She used to do all kinds of crafts, but she said her crafting is getting limited because of the space, which I totally understand that. And paper is a lot easier to store than wood and everything else that you craft with. So somebody might just want journaling stuff if they win, or somebody might like a stencil if I have a stencil to give away, or, you know, they might want ribbon. I have a ton of ribbon to give away. So I will get in touch with whoever wins Happy Mail and let them know and ask them if they have a preference before I send things. Hey, Carlene. Thank you for joining me today. So we are painting this apple. This is an apple now, you guys, in case y'all didn't know that. This is my apple from Hobby Lobby. I don't usually do this with my paintbrush, but there was like an indentation. Like the paint wasn't going in. And I don't really want to have to do another coat of this paint because then it's going to get darker every time you paint it. And I like the brightness of this color right now. And I meant to find my leaves, but I think I'm just going to do a bow up at the top. And I'm just going to do a messy bow. But I have a ton of paint. I have a ton of ribbon picked out that we can use. Different sizes, colors. I mean, red is red, but green. I got like 60,000 shades of green. Hi, Joan. Thank you for sprinkling. So I'm going to dry the paint. If it really does need a second coat, I will go back and do a second coat. I'm hoping it doesn't. It looks pretty coated to me. I can see a couple of spots on the edges right here. But no apple looks perfect. If you've ever gone to the grocery store to pick out apples, you'll know that. So I know that there were a couple of new people in the event today that I had to follow. I don't know if I think I was following them. I just had never been able to watch them live. So that was nice. And Kim was one of them, and she was working on a frame, and she made some apples that were made out of like balls of some sort. I think they were styrofoam balls. Oh, there's Kim. I was just talking about you. And she was asking if anybody had ever covered fabric, uh, the foam balls with fabric. I've never. I had a my upline with Magnolia did. What was she didn't do apples. She was just covering them to put in a dough bowl. But she didn't use styrofoam balls. I think she used like wiffle balls from the Dollar Tree. And I had every intention of doing that. I have tennis balls that I found pretty cheap that I was going to do that with. I ended up having to give my grandma a set of them once when she was here because the tennis ball, she lost one of her tennis balls on her walker. But I still had more. I just never got around to it. And I have so much fabric I could do that with that it's just sitting there. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do a second coat. I think this looks fine as is. And this is the same paint you were using earlier, Kim. This is the Imperial Red from Copart. There are just a few sections that still need drawing. I'm just going to tilt this so I can make sure I didn't miss anything that needs to dry. Because I can't always see it. Especially on that side. So this is my Red Delicious apple, for anybody wondering. It looks a little wonky. That's how I roll. My wonky apple. So I'm going to sand it again with my little sander. Just to make sure the surface is nice and even. Because when you put your stencil on, you want it to be a little bit smooth so that it doesn't pull everything up. And for anybody wondering, this is a Gator sander, but it's not the Gator brand. I'm pretty sure that one came from either Amazon or possibly even Temu. Because I have bought from both of them. And I will tell you guys this. If you use one of those sanders and you need refills for them, the Gator brand refills only come in certain grits. So the lower the number, the thicker the grit, like the coarser it is. So the more wood it'll take off when you're using it. The higher the number, it's going to be smoother. If you're trying to find one that's higher than 320, you're not going to find it in that because the ones from that brand, Gator brand, they only have like, I think it's 80, 120, and then like 220, 320. But if you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or order on Amazon, they have higher grits. They're not cut in strips, but you can buy the Velcro strips that people will use on a belt sander and just cut them to be the size. That's what I've done. I'm just grabbing a brown paint. That is not the color I want. Choose this one. This one is roasted pecan. It was on clearance, which, I mean, 50 cents off is not exactly clearance, but it's better than paying full price. So I'm just going to paint the stem. Grab a paintbrush. And since it's not a very big spot, I'm just going to squeeze my paint out on it if it'll come out. It's kind of a thick paint. I think it's just old. And then we will stencil. And I'm going to ask you guys a question about the stenciling when I get to it. Do y'all think I should do it all a stencil and all in one color? Or should I do it in multicolors with the orchard sign? And if you've missed any of the event, it started this morning at 9 Central Time. I missed that live because I'm not an early morning person and I wasn't awake really at that time. I'm more of like a 10 o'clock is when I can start watching things and actually paying attention. But it did start at 9, so if you missed anybody, you can always go back and watch the replays in the group. And again, since I didn't bring my water in here, I'm just using these cheap, and I mean cheap, baby wipes to wrap these in so that the paint doesn't dry in them before I get a chance to wash them. So my stencil is this apple orchard one. And I could do it in multiple colors because, like I said, I only did the one coat of the red. It's not overly dark. So I do have like greens and browns and reds. I also have like pink for Honeycrisp apples. My original thought was if it's too dark to just use either white or sage on it. White would be very bright. So I was thinking sage would be bright, but not too in your face one. But I also have out, you know, this is called Pink Harmony. So it's like a Honeycrisp kind of color. And I have either dough or intense rust that we could use for like the basket. And then I have some greens. I have either the magnolia or the fern green. And we could do this for like Granny Smith, and we could use this for like the leaves on the apples. I don't know. What do y'all think? We got 30 minutes. I am going to make a bow. I do have ribbon out for that to make a bow to put up here. That's why I'm not overly concerned about the top and if it mashed or blended well at that part, because it's going to go up there anyway. So we can either do this in one color or we could do it in multiple colors. If we do it in multiple colors, I am going to do, you know, like the top, like maybe do the wording and then pull it up a little bit so that it doesn't dry in my stencil. The easiest thing would be to do is just do it in one color. Ooh, that might be a good idea. We could do it in one color and then we could watercolor the rest of it. That could be good. Like it would be like the outline of the apples and stuff, and we can watercolor them in a little bit. I'm not sure I like that though. So down here it says Fuji, Honeycrisp, Golden Delicious, and Gala. So apparently they don't have any green apples. So we'll just use Pink Harmony and, well, I was going to say use red, but we already painted the background red. We'll use Magnolia Green and make them the green apples anyway. And then we'll use one of these colors for this basket. And I might use the Sage Green for the wording. But right now I'm going to grab, which y'all have heard me call paintbrush squeegees. These are my version from Hobby Lobby, which they're called silicone paintbrushes for anybody that doesn't know. But Magnolia does sell what they call paintbrush squeegees, and I have those too. I have those. The green ones are the ones from Magnolia. So it comes in a set of 4 from Magnolia, different tips, and then I have more of the different ones that are smaller from Hobby Lobby. They had like 3 different sizes, so you know, I bought all of them because that's how I roll. I like to have options. And then this is just a tool from Chocolate Tour. I think this is like a tiny tip, but I don't really use this very much. It is good for getting in areas, but I don't really need to get in areas. So we're going to use our fuzzing cloth or tacky towel, whichever one you have, whether you're with Magnolia or Chocolate Tour. I only have the one from Magnolia, but that's because since I'm a Magnolia creator, it's less expensive for me. Plus, I think overall, Magnolia was less expensive for like accessories and stuff. So you just want to get some some of the tackiness off the back of here so that it doesn't pull up paint. You don't really need too much. If you take it off of the backing slip and it doesn't really feel overly sticky, I would not fuzz it whatsoever. Because if it doesn't feel sticky coming off the backing sheet and you fuzz it a few times, it might not even stick to your surface. So, just saying. I'm not really concerned about this being straight. Most things that I do are not straight, so. I do want to make sure it's down all the way, though. So I'm going to use one of my little squeegees and do this. I just run it across the stencil or up the stencil to make sure it is down. And it's especially important to do this if you're using a stencil, like I said, when you take it off the backing sheet and it doesn't feel sticky at all. It's very important to do that step, because if you don't, it'll just keep moving around your whole surface. So let's see. I'm trying to decide what color I want to do the wording. Because I'm probably going to do the wording and then lift it up. Do the wording, lift it up. So I'll do the wording like here and dry it. Do the wording here and dry it. I'll leave the apples for last. So, should we use the light color for the wording? Or should we use like a brown color for the wording? I'm leaning towards the sage. I don't even know if it's open. Oh, look, it's not open. Let's open it. For anybody that's new to the chalk world, this corner right here on these sticks is kind of sharpish. And I just use it to, well, that one came up pretty easily, but if it won't come up easily like this, you just use this part right here to pierce the foil, and it will help you get this piece off of your surface. I mean, of your paste or your ink, whatever one you're opening. Yes, I think we are going to go with this green, the lighter color. This is called Vintage Sage. And I think Magnolia decided to make this an all year round thing. At one point it was like a seasonal thing, but I think they changed that. I think it's like a year round thing now. Because I remember when it first came out, I didn't buy it. And then I waited for it to come back. Okay, so I'm just going to use a regular squeegee for the wording. So we're going to do the kinds of apples down here. I'm going to lift it up and dry it. And I'm telling you all that because I have been that person that didn't lift it up and dry it. And it messes up your surface. It's not so much the stencil that I'm concerned about. It's the surface. And I don't get a lot on my squeegee. That's why y'all will see me sticking it in a lot. I don't tend to get a lot on there when I go put it in to get paste out. Because you don't need a ton. It's a minimal amount needed for the wording. And again, I'm just going to come back in. I don't have too much of this paste on here, so I'm not overly concerned about it. But I do want to smooth it out as much as I can. And then I'm just going to stick that in my lid. I'm going to pull this up and dry it. And I will tell y'all a trick. If you're putting this in like a tray and it just fits in the tray, or it doesn't really fit at all, but you can fit like the wording in there that you want to use, put one of those stir sticks that I just showed you underneath a corner of your stencil, and then you'll have something to lift it up. And when I do this, I try to be careful not to press it down because I've done that before and ended up with the paste on part of the stuff that I didn't want. So I'm not really concerned about it drying right now because it's not affecting anything else on our surface. And it's not going all the way back down. So we're going to do the apple part next up at the top. And again, you just want to be careful not to get it too close to the edge. That's one of the reasons that they made these paintbrush squeegees, for things like that, getting it in small places or using it around edges of things. I actually think this looks really good on this red. And you want to go in one direction, really, when you're doing this. So if you start going up and down, don't start automatically just going side to side. Unless you're going to do the whole thing like that. Because it'll look a little... And you also, if you go side to side after you've gone up and down, and your stencil isn't all the way down, there's more of a chance of you getting the paste underneath the stencil if you do that. And I did just get some on that area, but I think I'm going to do that in a darker green, so it's not going to be that noticeable when I do it. But if you're concerned about that, be a little more careful than I was just now. Just saying. So we're going to peel this part up. And of course, as I'm trying to peel it up, I'm pushing it further down onto this surface. Instead of pulling it up, it's pushing it down. So we're doing this. I'm going to dry this some. And since this is such a thick print, like font, I can come back and fix these two letters that aren't pulling off. I don't really want to press my stencil back down again to do them. But this A and P right here, oops, I didn't mean to do that. They're not all the way filled in like I would want. So I'm just going to come back and fix those later. So I'm just taking my squeegee and pressing back down where the apples are, because I pulled them up when I was pulling the top part up, and I want to make sure they're back down so that when I do my paste in them, it's not going to go underneath and end up with the stuff all messed up. And I'm not using the one with the paste on it because I don't want that on here. I'm using a fresh one. And if I do get paste on it, I would wipe it off before I kept using it. Thanks, Melanie. Melanie is one of my favorite people that I've ever exchanged mystery boxes with so far. She sent me so Melanie was my first partner in a mystery box. I had never done one before we got paired together. And I thought I sent the most shitty things to Melanie, but she made the cutest project with them. So, okay, I was going to do the other side too, but I learned my lesson a long time ago. I don't need to do that. Hey, Miss Kim. We are working on an apple project in our Snapple event today. And I do want y'all to say, so I wasn't originally in the event, but an opening became available because Chris with Coastal Creations by K&S, her mom was moving in with her. But also, I talked to her the other day and she told me she was having knee replacement surgery today. So, yeah, there's that. So, just keep her in your prayers. Knee replacement surgeries aren't usually that bad of a thing. But she's going through it with her mom moving in with her and all of that adjusting and then having to get the knee replaced. I'm sure that is not like the easiest of things. So just wanted to give her a little shout out because I did realize that I was filling her spot, and then she told me that she was doing surgery. So I put 2 and 2 together and was like, obviously that's why I'm filling in. So I'm gonna lift this side up, try this side. You did a great job with the stuff that I sent you, Melanie. And so I didn't really know Mel that well. And I sent her a charger plate. And she was like, I love this. This is so great. And I'm like, well, I guess I know you better than I thought I did. I mean, I knew Mel, but I didn't really know, like, I wasn't sure what the heck to send in that box. Okay, I'm just pressing down with my finger now. Okay, so this is a great big surface. Oh, thanks, Kim. It is from Chalk Couture. I'm not sure if it's still available. It could have been available in the fall and not now. So I'm not using this green anymore. I'm going to use a darker green for the leaves. And we're going to do Pink Harmony and the Magnolia green, which is kind of like a sour apple green. I think I want to do the Pink Harmony on these and make them look apple crisp, and do the green on these. So I'm going to start with the green ones because there's less of them. And I am going to use the paintbrush squeegees now because of how close it is to our basket. So I'm just going to dip it and get a little bit and just do all of these with this at the bottom. And I'm just going to lift it up again, just like I did with the wording. Because, like I said, you don't want it to dry too much in your stencil. And there is a flower down here, so I probably will paint that with the Pink Harmony as well. And if I get green on this basket, I can always just paste over it when it comes time to do that. But this is a time-consuming stencil for doing this, but it's worth it in the end because it ends up looking so pretty. Sometimes it's hard to see where the apple ends and the next one starts, or like if it's a leaf or not. So I just kind of interpret it as I go, like, is that part of a leaf or is that not part of a leaf? So it's part of one of those you do you things. If you think it's part of the apple, go for it. If you don't think it's part of the apple, leave it alone. I might pull it up after I do this part over here, just because it's taking me a while to do it. Even though it is a small area, I'm just painting the stems with this green. I don't feel like trying to wait and do those in brown. And if I want to do them in the other green, I can. But I don't really want to wait and let any of this dry in here. So I'm just going to lift it up. And apparently I missed the side of the apple, but I think that's where the leaf was. But this is what I was talking about with the apples. It's only doing the outline because it only covers where the white is on the stencil, or the opening on the stencil. So I am using this to press this back down. It is getting a little of the green on it, but I need it back down so that I can do the leaves. So for the leaves, I have out fern green, which is the darker green. It's also one of the newer formulas, so it's a little more, it stays a little more mixed, I guess, is that the word? But so I'm using that for the leaves. And I did swipe my squeegee off on the disinfectant wipe. I've never noticed that words don't want to come out of your mouth when y'all are live. I know that happens to multiple people, so. Well, thank you for having me, Mel, and Sandie, and Shannen. I'm glad to be back in the events. And I wasn't able to get any for next month, but next month is a little more, I have more stuff going on, so. But I did get some for this month, which I'm happy about. Because I'm going out of town next month on a vacation. So I'll be planning that. And my sister's going out of town, and I've determined I do not like crafting when I have to watch the dog. Mostly because the dog does not like it when I leave. He's very much Nanny's dog. And he gets mad at me when I leave. And he doesn't want to come home with me because he doesn't like the car ride. Which I don't live that far from my sister. So he shouldn't have an issue with it. But he does. Okay, I'm going to finish doing this corner. Usually I take these and throw them away. I don't know why I didn't with that one. But hey, things happen. Hey, Miss Sandie. We are working on a stencil from Chalk Couture. So I'm just taking some of the paste off of that and using it for this flower. It kind of looks like a hibiscus, so I kind of figured, you know, this will be the perfect color for that too. That's also why I think I'm going to do the pink on the flowers in the center. These flowers on the apples in the center. That way they're not too close to the flowers at the bottom. Okay. Hey, Miss Kelly. Oh, Me Mom's Corner. Me Mom's Crafty Corner is Miss Kelly, and she did her first live the other night with our friend Glenna. And I just happened to catch it. I was excited. Because she had never done a live before. Okay. So we're finished with that side. I'm not going to worry about the basket right now, really, because I'm going to focus more on the rest of our apples. That is not the one I was using. Well, that was the one I was using for them, but I'm going to grab a different one to do my apples on this side. I'm going to use this one. So I am painting these basically with this paintbrush. They call these silicone paintbrushes over at Hobby Lobby. And if they don't have them in store, you can usually find at least this size, which is the number 2, on their website. Thank you, Miss Melanie. If anybody would like this stencil, I can see if it's available on the website after I'm done. I do have some friends that are creators with Chalk Couture. Mary Lou from Loving Your Home Space, who does events with AIC, is one of them. And I can get her to give me her link so she can get credit for it if anybody buys it. Because I don't, because I'm not a creator with them or a designer with them or whatever they call their people. I'm only going over where the openings are, you guys, because there's no sense in putting the paste in the center where nobody's going to see it. It's just going to be on the stencil and wiped off at the end. So, yay! I'll have to make sure I can tune into that. I'm not doing anything Friday that I know of. Y'all, they were on late at night. They were on so late that I was like, I need to go to bed. Because I was babysitting the next morning. Let's keep going and do the next one. I'm obviously not going to finish this in the next 10 minutes, but I'm going to get as much as I can done. Oh, I almost stuck that in the pink. That would not be good. I keep wanting to stick it in the pink because it's closer to me. I had so much fun hanging out with my niece the other day when I babysat her. She was playing with my sister's old strawberry shortcake dolls, and she kept asking me who this one doll, what's its name? She would come out. I was working on my computer in the kitchen. What's its name again? She was playing with lemon meringue. And I was like, lemon. And she's like, the other name. I'm like, meringue. I know you're not going to remember that, but I think this is an apple up here too. Could have used a bigger paintbrush right there, but whatever. It is not the end of the world. And if you do get the If it does dry in your stencil, it's not the end of the world. You can clean it off. As long as it's not in the mesh after you clean it, which it shouldn't be. It should come off with water. If you go run it under your sink or something, it should be fine. Thanks, Kelly. I think Magnolia has one that's a 12 by 18 also. So I didn't want to use that one because it's massive. So I liked when Chocolate Tour came out with this one because it meant you could do it on a smaller surface. Even though this is not a really small surface, it is a giant apple. Okay, I think that's all we're going to do with that. Normally I would just throw this away, but I want to keep the extra piece that's on it. Lift this up. And dry it off. They kind of look like tomatoes right now. But they're not. They're apples. So then I'm going to come back with the fern green, which is the darker one. I am going to take my little squeegee and come press down. The outside part where there isn't any paste, I can use my finger, but any part that's like inside that I need to make sure is back down, I like using the squeegee so that I don't get it all over my fingers. A lot of people are night owls. Like I was saying, Kelly did her first live the other night with Glenna, and it was like my event ended at midnight Central Time. And I went to watch them, and they were already on when I found them. So, and they were on for a while after that. So I'm just coming in here with the green that's darker. And I'm doing the stem on this flower since it's right next to the apple as well. So I want to thank Melanie and Sandie and Shannen for having me today. I'm glad I was able to fill in, and I really am enjoying this because I've had this stencil for a little while and have not used it, obviously. And again, up after me is Mechell with Glittzy YaYa. So if you're watching in the group, all you have to do is refresh the page and she will be in there. And if you're not, you can go find her. Her name is Glittzy YaYa. I can't put her link in my description because I'm not directly on Facebook, but her name is in there. So you can go copy and paste it and search her, or the easiest thing is just go join. Go join. Kim, you're not a late night crafter. You know who's a late night crafter? Tamara. She is a late night crafter for sure. She was on Whatnot the other day, and I'm like, oh, I missed a spot up here. It's the whole leaf up here. I was like, I just need to go to sleep. It was last night. And then I ended up staying up later watching television after I got off of her live. Okay. The leaves. Let's finish doing this leaf here. Oh, this flower leaf. Teresa, I'm still live right now, but thank you for saying hashtag replay. I appreciate that. She is up in the event. I believe that she is after Mechell with Glittzy YaYa. And Mechell likes to do fake bakes, so she might be doing a fake bake on her live tonight. And I will be in the comments because I'm a night owl. I will be up late. I don't go to sleep early. Despite what I try to tell myself, that I should go to sleep. You really don't need a lot of air, hot air to finish doing this. It's not a ton. So come back in here with this. I am going to use, what color do y'all think we should use for the basket? The darker or the lighter brown? So y'all let me know. Y'all let me know in the comments, dark or light. because that's what I think I'm going to do next is the basket. And I am just making sure it's pressed back down. And I am done with this magnolia green, so I'm going to close it. And I have about 2 minutes left. Melanie says light, which is dough. Okay, I'm just making sure it's down, especially around where the apples are. It should be. I'm going to be using that again, but I'm just going to put the lid on it. Okay, we'll use the lighter one. Oh, Sandie says light too. So it's kind of, so this brown is kind of like a, I'm going to call it gingerbread, because that's what I use it for at Christmas time. It's like a gingerbread brown. But I'm thinking that this is a smart idea to do the outline of it, because then I can come back with a darker brown to cover it, like to paint in it. If that makes any sense to y'all. I don't know if that even makes any sense, but since it's only going in where the lines are, I can come back in and do like a darker brown if I want to in those open spaces and kind of make it look more, I don't know, more full, more delineated with the colors. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying. I think I'm going to have to get a paintbrush squeegee to do the rest of the basket though. Let's just use, I don't need a tiny one, but I think I need a smaller one. You can cut apart the squeegees too, like the bigger ones. You can cut them down to size. I have all of these, so I might as well just use them. Yes, prayers for Sandie's fur baby. We love fur babies. Or I do. I guess if you have allergies to them, you might not like them, but we always pray for everybody's family, and fur babies are definitely family. So my time is up, you guys. I will take a picture of this once I finish it, and I will post it on my page and share it into the group. Let's go watch Mechell, and I will see you guys over in her comments. Bye, guys.